Hello everyone, Helen Yu here at AWS reInvent. I'm honored to have an opportunity to sync up with Scott Clark, who's CEO and founder CEO of Distributional, one of the 6 being featured startups here at Inception. But before we talk more about Distributional, Scott, such a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Yeah, can you tell us more about your background and then how, what inspired you to start Distributional?
Definitely. Well, first, thank you for having me. Honored to be on the platform. This is actually my second company, and so thank you. My first company was based off of my grad school work. My PhD thesis was all around how do you optimize AI systems. And so I built a company around Bayesian optimization and hyperparameter tuning and neural architecture search, and ran that company for about 7 years. Ended up selling it to Intel in 2020.
Right, yeah.
Thank you. But after doing about 15 years of AI optimization, all the way back from the very early days of CloudNets and things like that, I came to this realization that the thing that's really holding back adoption and value in the enterprise isn't performance. People don't stay up at night hoping they can overfit a metric by another 0.5%. They stay up at night because they're worried about what that system is actually going to do.
You're right.
The real barrier is confidence, not performance. And that's why I started Distributional, to help people get more confidence and understanding from their AI agents. And we do that today through agent analytics, pulling the signals and patterns and behaviors, these unknown unknowns, out of the agent logs that you have, so that you can better fix and improve and optimize your models at the end of the day with these great NVIDIA products.
That's awesome, right? And how did you come up with the name, by the way?
Yeah, so underneath the hood, what we're doing is we're taking all of these signals from these production logs and building up these high-dimensional distributions of behavior. And so each one of these high-dimensional distributions is looking like a fingerprint, and we can say, where is that fingerprint a little bit different? Where is it shifted from today versus yesterday? What's this interesting sub-segment of that distribution that could be insightful to make the product better or to fix a potential issue? And so it's distributional underneath the hood, and we're also a distributed company, so it's a bit of a double.
Very vivid. It's a little bit difficult to pronounce, but it works, right? Thank you. And everybody talks about AI and AI agents today. But when it comes to deploying that at scale, that's still a challenge. So I'm glad you're solving the real world problem there. And then I'd like to learn a little bit more about this NVIDIA Inception, right? And how has that helped you to accelerate new growth?
Definitely. Well, everything today runs on NVIDIA chips. And so it's been really great. I was an Inception partner for my first startup, and now I'm with this one. And I would recommend it to any founder out there. The amount of support you get, the access, the ability to work with some of the most amazing technologies and technologists in the world has been really breathtaking.
You even have an NVIDIA hat on you.
Exactly.
So tell us more about the NeMo Toolkit, right? The integration of that.
So what we're finding is with a lot of different enterprises out there, they're looking for ways to not just play around with agents, but really scale them into production. And the NeMo Agent Toolkit creates this great foundation to be able to administer these agents, be able to evaluate them, be able to do hyperparameter optimization, which is part of the demo. Security, exactly. And so this is one of the things we love the most about NVIDIA is they obviously have the chips that everybody's running everything on, but they also build up this ecosystem that allows people to actually utilize them and accelerate their ability to train, inference, and now do analytics on these agents and keep that flywheel running.
AI training on its own, right? That's a dream for everybody.
It is.
Yeah.
But as things start to mature, I see there being 3 pillars. There's going to be the training, there's going to be the inference, and then ultimately, there's also going to be the analytics.
Yeah.
You build it, you run it, but then you need to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think NVIDIA has a great story to tell in each one of these pillars.
I love that. And then I work with a lot of companies in highly regulated industry. So when there's comes to on-prem, right, there's also on-prem GPU. Tell us more about that. How does that solve the problem?
Definitely. So one of the lessons I learned with my first startup, which was more SaaS first, is that real industries and real workloads, you need to fit the shape of what they actually need.
Love that.
And that typically looks like being in their VPC, whichever cloud it is, being on premise, making sure that you can fit with their tools and their solutions. And so Distributional has taken that to the next step, integrating with the NeMo Agent Toolkit, but we can also integrate with whatever model you have in the back end, whether it's a great Nemotron model running on a NIM, or whether that's Amazon Bedrock running another NVIDIA-based model. And so by coming to where they actually are and fitting their requirements up front, we can do so much more and have a larger impact than just, again, having toys and POCs.
That's phenomenal. And tell us more. Give us is there a customer success story you can share with us?
I would say one of the things that we find when we work with different customers is there's this chasm from going from that pilot POC where you can really look at everything. You can interview every user. You can look at every individual trace. But once you turn on that fire hose, all of a sudden that lack of understanding of what's really happening can get masked if you're just monitoring at a very high level. If you're just looking at an eval time series, you don't really get to know what are the pockets of behavior that my users are actually experiencing. And so for some of our customers, it can be really eye-opening. They thought they were doing something right. They thought they had all the right evals. They thought they put all the right examples and reinforcement learning and fine-tuning. And then the second they turn it on, 5 or 6 issues just pop out of our platform, and they can immediately say, okay, here's something new to fix. Here's something new to improve. Here's a new subset of data I can feed into the AI data flywheel and make that much more analytics-driven instead of just wandering around and having all these unknown unknowns.
Well, I started my career as a financial analyst, so I can relate to it. And then you can't see the forest tree, right?
Exactly.
You gotta have that bird's eye view and really understand. The key is to understand what the data tells you.
Yeah,
And
zoom out
Exactly.
and then zoom back in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we are 2025, almost into 2026. What are you most excited about? Innovation. What's next?
I think that third pillar is going to be what happens in 2026. Like, you needed to build these models first. You needed to build these agents. Then you needed to be able to actually scale them at the inference level. But once they actually get out into the wild, once they start doing these tasks and providing real value, it's going to be a continuous optimization. And we think that analytics-driven AI data flywheel is really going to power that next wave of value creation.
That's cool. Any particular industry you're working more with, or you're agnostic?
So highly regulated because of that enterprise first, on-prem first stance. So we do a lot with the financial services industry, like energy, manufacturing, really anyone who wants to have security and privacy of their data as a first-class part of the product. We can help them understand those agents and that data better.
Well, you're a pro in terms of starting the startup and get it going. And for those who are really early founders, what's your 1 minute advice?
I would say I'm not a pro. No one's a pro. It's just really hard. You have to just love the struggle. You have to love learning. And the number one thing that qualifies a good founder, I think, is grit.
Yeah.
Because everything I thought I learned with the first startup, I had to relearn or learn a new lesson with the second one. And so I would say, if you're passionate about something, go for it. But it's that passion that drives you forward, and just constantly be making mistakes and learning.
I love that. I share that observation. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully you'll be at GTC in March.
We will, for sure.
Me too. So I'll see you there, and then
Excellent.
look forward to catching up again by then.
Definitely. I look
Okay.
forward to it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.